Good morning, class, Mr. Ludlow. Today, I will be talking about Georgia's legislative branch. Also called the General Assembly, Georgia's legislative branch is split up into two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate. This makes the General Assembly a bicameral legislature. According to Georgia's seal, the legislative branch is under the pillar with the banner Wisdom. That means Georgia's legislators should be wise, well-informed, and make good decisions about laws. Let's talk about each of the houses, their duties and responsibilities, and how to be elected into one. Let's start with the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has 180 reps. Their leader is called the Speaker of the House. He is elected by his fellow representatives to preside over House meetings. Now let's move on to some requirements to become a House representative. To be a member of the House of Representatives, you have to be at least 21 years of age. You have to have lived in the voting district you are running in for at least 1 year, and you have to have been a citizen of Georgia for at least 2 years. Of course, you also have to be elected. Some responsibilities of the House of Representatives: they work on apportionment bills, and they also work to pass laws. Now let's move on to the Senate. The Senate has 56 reps. The leader of the Senate is called the Lieutenant Governor. To run for the Senate, you have to be at least 25 years of age, you have to have lived in the voting district you're running for at least 1 year, and you have to have been a citizen of Georgia for at least 2 years. So the requirements to run are pretty similar. Some responsibilities of the Senate: they approve executive branch members, and they also work to pass laws, just like the House of Reps. Now let's move on to committees. When the General Assembly meets for its 40-day session beginning on the second Monday of January, there are thousands of bills they have to go through. This number would be many, many more, if not for committees. Committees are a group of legislators who screen bills and decide which bills will be talked about on their respective House floor. There are two types of committees. We have standing committees and temporary committees. A standing committee is a permanent committee. It's always there. An example of a standing committee would be the Ways and Means Committee. They deal with a lot of things concerning taxes. So if someone wants a bill passed concerning taxes, they would have to go through the Ways and Means Committee, who would decide whether it was worth being sent to the House or Senate floor, depending on which house they worked for. Now let's move on to temporary committees. Temporary committees are made when there's a particular circumstance. For example, you have the Conference Committee. A Conference Committee is appointed when there are two different versions of the same bill. So say the House of Representatives has one version of a bill and the Senate has another version of the bill, a Conference Committee would be appointed to resolve the dispute. So now that we have a basic idea of the legislative branch and the General Assembly and our bicameral legislature and how the committees work, let's move on to how a bill becomes a law, which is really what all of this is about. So step one, let's say Bob Barnes, wants to make a law that says everyone should wear red socks on Thursdays. So Bob Barnes sends his proposal to a clerk. This clerk turns the proposal into a bill. This bill is given to, let's say, the House of Representatives. It could be sent to the Senate, but for purposes of this demonstration, it was sent to the House. So the House of Representatives assigns this bill to a committee. So if the committee likes the bill, and how do they decide that? Well, they research the bill, they think about it, they discuss, they ask for public opinion, and then they vote. So if our committee likes the bill, hey, red socks are cool, then they would send it to the House floor. Now the House floor has to vote on it. The House floor may make revisions, change a few things up, but in the end, it's really the same bill. So let's say it becomes wear red socks on Wednesdays. So now the House votes. The majority of the House members say, yeah, we like this. We want to wear red socks on Wednesdays. So now it's sent over to the Senate. Once again, the bill is assigned to a Senate committee. The Senate committee does their research. They may ask for public opinion. They vote. And let's say the Senate committee likes Red Sox. Now it's sent to the Senate floor. The Senate floor says, "Yay, Red Sox." So now that both the House of Representatives and the Senate like Red Sox on Wednesdays, they would send it over to the governor. Now, the governor has three options here. He can either A, sign the bill and it immediately becomes a law. He can veto the bill, which I'll talk about in a second, or he can wait on the bill. Waiting is more like a form of protest. If the governor just sits and waits, the bill will eventually become a law, but he kind of expresses his dislike for it. So, let's say the governor doesn't like this bill. He wants to veto it. He thinks wearing Red Sox on Wednesdays is a horrible idea. I don't blame him. Now, the houses here have two options. They can either A, change the bill, so maybe Red Sox on Mondays, or B, they could vote again. If 2/3 of the people in each house say, yes, Red Sox on Thursdays, I think it was, then the bill becomes a law. So let's say that happens. 2/3 of the people in each house vote and say, yay, bill, now law. So the governor's veto has been overridden and the bill is now a law. Thank you. Have you Red Sox?